The choices you make in Witcher 3 aren't hard choices, but the game in which they take place makes them hard choices. See, most games with choices give you the option of heroic or psychotic, and many struggle to find a comfortable in-between to settle. The Witcher 3 is more subdued, but the morally correct thing to do is usually obvious. Geralt says in a trailer, when forced to choose between one evil and another, "I'd rather not choose at all." Shockingly, this holds true in the game. Geralt rarely has to pick between evil options. Instead, most choices are between the personal good and the greater good. Now, it must seem obvious that the greater good is always the correct choice, and if that's what you believe, I'm not sure why you're watching this video if you haven't played the game. What I mean by that is the world of The Witcher has very few people worth saving in it. It's a cruel and violent world with no room for empathy and kindness. Hatred and racism run rampant through every corner of the land. When the player makes a choice, they're being asked to decide if this is one of those people worth saving, or should you abandon them. After all, your job is killing monsters. By not signposting what is the correct choice a la BioWare, CD Projekt is disguising what the moral thing to do is, and unlike other games, sometimes the right thing to do is to butcher a vile piece of filth, like Whoreson Jr. Whenever you give up a contract because someone offers to pay you off, or you turn on an NPC because new information has come to light, it doesn't feel like the right thing to do, even though turning a blind eye to injustice is arguably worse. Witcher 3 asks you to show mercy to those who don't deserve it. You know that these people are truly disturbed and shouldn't be allowed to live, but is it your job to kill them? What makes you the one to decide who lives and who dies? It's a genius way to try and justify killing someone. Normally RPGs will clearly paint murdering someone when you don't have to as the psychotic choice, but Witcher 3 asks you what would make the world a little better, continuing the cycle of violence or wiping off a little filth. Something else that makes The Witcher 3's choices harder than most games is their unpredictability. Usually, RPGs are unambiguous about what choices will lead to what. It's exceptionally rare for you to be surprised by a choice you make going awry. Witcher 3 is a game where even if you make a choice, it's not guaranteed to come to pass. Now, where someone might normally be annoyed that they didn't get what they want, I see it as a superb form of writing, because it's acting like a real world would. See, video games are more often than not a power fantasy where you get to control everything, because life is chaos and video games are an escape. So being in total control is a calming feeling, although it's certainly not true to life. Witcher 3 will sometimes employ deceptive techniques where the choices you make aren't what you want, or more accurately, it doesn't reveal what the consequences of those choices will be. This is seen most predominantly with the Whispering Hillock. You're purposely presented with little information when you come face to root with the spirit. You can easily tell that the tree isn't to be trusted from its demonic presence, but on the other hand, you were sent here by the crones of Crookback Bog, so neither side is trustworthy. No matter what you decide, there's ultimately no good outcome. People will die either way, some of them children, and the crones will escape their fate, leaving behind misery and despair. Witcher 3 makes this decision hard by not giving you a good choice to make. Now, does this go against Geralt's statement about not wanting to pick between two evils? I'd say no, because the unknowable consequences of this choice means that neither choice is explicitly worse than the other. Though cleverly, until you look up what the other choice would have done, the game is able to trick you into thinking you made the wrong choice, as almost every other game would give you a way to save Anna, the orphans, and Downwarren. By forcing one of these groups to die, Witcher 3 makes you always feel like you made the wrong choice. However, what makes the choices truly difficult is your inability to go back and change them, at least not without a major hassle. See, games like Skyrim and other Bethesda titles will allow you to quick save and then let you live consequence-free until you change your mind, like that one episode of Rick and Morty. There are few decisions in Bethesda games that have long-term story consequences. Usually, the decision you make has an immediate effect on your current situation, allowing you to easily flip-flop between which option feels more satisfying. I'm not criticizing this model, as Bethesda to this day makes the best power fantasy open world RPGs in the industry, although I think their fans are getting tired of that trope. Witcher 3 will let the consequences of your choice fester, only revealing themselves when it's far too late to change your mind. Your romance choice is an apparent example. Most other RPGs will deny you multiple romance options, or have you make a true choice near the end of the game. Witcher 3 allows you to romance both, seemingly with no consequence, then lambasts your horniness at a point when it's far too late to change your mind. The same can be said of the ending, which requires you to replay all of Acts 2 and 3 to change your ultimate fate, and the final conversation has no effect on what happens. It's like an anti-Mass Effect 3. I'll be back in 2 days. In the meantime, here's a video about which romance partner is right for Geralt.